Hi, everybody. So it looks like we have a couple of people already, maybe. Latoya, Christine. While we're waiting for more people to show up, I'm just going to go ahead and light some incense. I got this new type incense because I wanted some frankincense incense, but not incense that just smells like frankincense. I wanted the actual stuff. And so I was researching it, and apparently it is a resin. And there are lots of different types of resin incenses, and I guess this is like the oldest way of doing incense anyway. So it's kind of interesting. You're going to get to see me burn some. I lighted my little charcoal disc. So Christine is saying, I shared a Sasquatch video yesterday that was cute, so I need to see what's up. Thank you for your time and energy. Yeah, I mean, if you want to share the link to that as well, so that people can check it out. I've never had a personal experience with a Sasquatch. Hi, Sydney. But just my interest was recently piqued. And I knew a little bit about them. I knew that they were telepathic and that people often report kind of like spontaneous telepathic communication when they do encounter them. But I wanted to learn more about it. Apparently they're extremely psychic. So just wanted to talk about that. And there's a particular account that I found that I've linked to down in the description below. So if you're more interested in Sasquatch, they're very extremely psychic. They're also definitely more ancient than humans, and they know a lot about human origins even, and kind of like cosmically what's happening on Earth and all of that. So we'll talk about just the things that struck me as interesting. But if you want to know more, I would just suggest going to that link and reading this person's account. So don't expect me to be an expert on Sasquatches, but I didn't realize, I've had some comments recently because one of my picket cards the other day, Sasquatch came up in it as a spirit guide, which is what piqued my interest. And I had some people commenting about, Sasquatch experiences. So I feel like maybe there are more people who have experienced them than I thought. Yes, they're very psychic, and they have a lot of different psychic abilities. I wonder if I can find the particular passage that talks about their psychic abilities. Let's scroll up. They have a lot of them. Telepathy, of course, we already mentioned. Okay. So this is what this particular guy, when he encountered like an elder seer, is how it was mentioned in this. Hi, Sandra. He encountered a Sasquatch that was an elder seer, and I guess Sasquatches live for hundreds of years or something, but this is one of the things that the Sasquatch said to him. We were gifted with powerful psychic abilities that we have kept to this day, including telepathy, mind reading, remote viewing, hypnosis, astral projection, dematerialization, teleportation, shape-shifting, and permeating consciousness. This last ability allows us to impregnate an area and surround entities with our soul. So we might be perceived as interdimensional beings, but in reality, we are an incarnated species with highly developed psychic powers, like none other from this home planet. So even that part is very interesting. They are like, in terms of their physical, unlike the last time we met, we were talking about like dragons and unicorns, which are more like multi-dimensional beings, and fairies and things like this. They're here, they're real, but they're not exactly in this dimension. Sasquatches are physically here, living in this dimension with us. Yay, this is my incense going. But they have these multi-dimensional abilities, which is nice to know, because as humans, as we, continue to evolve, we are also reconnecting or, just connecting with our own multidimensional abilities. It's clear to see, I'm sure a lot of you as well are starting to experience these things. Telepathy is becoming very, very common among humans, to the point that it doesn't sound totally ridiculous to talk about it. It would have been. So anyway, one of the things that I found interesting about what was said in this passage about Sasquatch is they have a shared, like the species itself has a shared higher soul that all of them are in contact with at all times, which means that if you encounter a Sasquatch, all Sasquatches will know about that and will know something about you as a human, because you have not only contacted that particular Sasquatch, but you have contacted the Sasquatch higher soul. And in fact, in this story, this guy, the first Sasquatch he comes across is, an elder seer. The next one he comes across is a leader in his kind of group. He is a leader, but not really at that same level. And the experience of that is very different. But the second Sasquatch already knows about him, because, all of the Sasquatches are connected through this higher soul, which I kind of feel like I wish that, humans probably have that too. Maybe every species has that. But it would be nice. I feel like, our experience here as humans would be much better if we had that, because people couldn't get away with shit, right? Because whatever you are doing, everyone would know about it. So I don't know. It kind of makes me think that maybe that's what's happening with spirit animals as well. Like maybe that's how the whole spirit animal experience works too. Because when you encounter, let's say if you encounter a butterfly in a very unique way, it's not necessarily that specific butterfly is having a message for you. It's more that butterfly is coming to you to share the collective wisdom of the butterfly experience. There's something inherent in being a butterfly and what that means, and the symbolism of that provides a sort of medicine and a healing and an understanding to you. So that's what spirit animals are. So I guess in a sense, it is the same thing. It's that individual butterfly is coming to you to connect you with maybe the butterfly higher soul. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm glad that as humans we are also connecting more fully to our own psychic abilities, our spiritual abilities, and just evolving into better people in the process. Sydney, I know that I always have a story. Well, that's great. Your brother had a Sasquatch experience. Go ahead and tell it. This isn't going to be like, super streamlined. I'm probably going to sort of jump around. You saw a Sasquatch in Arizona. Yeah, I would love to hear about it. I've not heard, usually when you hear about Sasquatches, it's in more like forested places. I don't know much about Arizona, but maybe there are forests in Arizona and I just don't know. I also thought it was interesting, one of the things the Sasquatch talked about was that humans, of course, developed language. We figured out it's one of the earliest forms of technology for humans is developing language and being able to communicate in that way to each other, which is very helpful. But because we developed that technology, obviously, it sort of was one of the things that pushed us away from our more intuitive abilities of communication, which we're coming back to. But Sasquatches have not developed that sort of language. And apparently one of the things, Sasquatches in general they care about us as humans because they care about, all beings on Earth. And they also want this evolution to happen. And they're trying to help that to happen, but they do have a lot of justifiable kind of trepidation regarding humans because they've had bad experiences with humans. Hi, Gabriella, and But one of the things that they really admire about us is the way that we can sing and make music, because this is not something that they do. Although they have all these other wonderful abilities, that's not something that they are able to do. So they do enjoy human music and singing and that type of thing. So that was interesting. I'm trying to think about the other things that really stood out to me. They do talk quite a bit about the fact that there are these, I'm going to figure out what, let me try to find some of the passages. They kept using this specific phrase. I screenshotted some of the passages. I think they kept, the lower lords. Okay, they talk about the lower lords, which I guess are, just maybe a group of people who are trying to keep humans enslaved. This is a good passage. You must drop the veil of illusion that has been raised over your souls, keeping you enslaved in a system running on fear, ignorance, scarcity, materialism, competition, and conflict, serving only the control agenda of the fallen powers. My people can still wait without losing our knowledge, as we have never fallen under the domination of the lower force. Well, that was fun. All right. But for your people, it is an emergency that a growing number of you reconnects with the ancient knowledge and spiritual gifts they have forgotten. I don't know when this account happened. I'm assuming it was a while back. I didn't see a date on it, but yeah, we are starting to do that. A lot of us are really connecting now to those spiritual gifts, which is wonderful. In order to readjust your collective destiny with the cosmic order, otherwise, the ruling uncivilization, they use that term a lot as well, the uncivilization that imposed itself over our Earth might end up succeeding in turning your evolutionary process on our home planet into a failure by causing unrepairable damages and destruction that could cause the abortion of this soul evolution experiment that you have been a part of. Well, I do not personally feel like that's going to happen. I do feel like we are going to be successful in bringing about the heaven on earth experience. I think that we will succeed in that. Yeah, but another interesting thing that they talk about is that, Sasquatches, well, they say that humans and Sasquatches were both, our DNA was manipulated in certain ways for different reasons. Sasquatches were originally some sort of like large form of lemur, according to this, and their DNA was manipulated to make them what they are, which was to create a species that did not have to rely on outside material things in the way that humans do. Like, they don't need clothing, they don't need shoes, they don't need houses for shelter. But humans were specifically, I guess, modified to be very needing of all of this, because, we're led to believe this, lie of materialism being so important. So anyway, let me go back through the passages and see what else. Yeah, I guess that's most of it. They do talk more about all of this stuff. So I just feel like they have a greater awareness maybe of the cosmic plan, but they also know that it could really go either way. And I guess this particular Sasquatch really felt the need to, like, you know, we do want to warn you of the possibilities. You know, it could go either way. But then after that, he met another Sasquatch. I guess I said this already. And the second Sasquatch he mentioned didn't necessarily have all of this great wisdom and stuff to share him the way that the first one did. But the second Sasquatch was aware of him. He said, are you the human that contacted us, or you're the human that spoke to us? And he said, yes. And I don't know, that this Sasquatch just seemed curious. The second Sasquatch was like, well, I'm curious, why are you humans out here gathering mushrooms? And intuitively, he knew that the humans were gathering mushrooms so that they could somehow profit off of them. But the Sasquatch couldn't understand really that concept of why humans would behave in that way. So I don't know, that was kind of interesting too. And with the second Sasquatch, to sort of like calm this second one, he started like humming or chanting, because he knew that the second Sasquatch would enjoy that, because somehow he knew that Sasquatches did enjoy music. So I don't know. Let me see what y'all are saying. Sydney, it was New Year's Eve in 1999. My mom, my brother, and I were driving late at night to family in upstate New York for a New Year's party. It was very woody in upstate New York. It was snowing very heavily. So my mom had to pull over till the snow calmed down. Next thing I know, my brother is freaking the hell out, screaming and trying to jump to the front seat. He kept screaming. A furry giant is behind us. We had to calm him down. To this day, he swears it was a Sasquatch. He said it was crossing across the road into the woods. That's interesting. Another thing that they talked about in this passage was, I'm going to close the window now because of the road traffic. Traffic noises. Anyway, because they are so psychically aware, that's one of the ways that they are mostly able to avoid humans. They can also read a particular human's intentions long before that human gets close to them. In most cases, I mean, in some cases, you know, humans can come upon them more quickly than they're prepared for. And in that case, again, they can scare the human off either through emitting like a really horrible smell, apparently. If they want to scare someone off, they'll emit a really horrible smell. And also, you know, they might also communicate telepathically with this human to kind of like let them know that their presence is not wanted. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that's really all I have to say about Sasquatch. I didn't have a lot to say about them, but it is interesting. You know, life is so much. There's so much more to our existence here. I hope I don't set off the alarm again, but I wanted to add some sage to that. I wonder if that Sasquatch was keeping watch on us while we waited. Maybe. Yeah, I wonder also if like Sasquatches, if they want to, if they know that your intentions as a human are good, they might actually want to reach out and connect with you in order to assist you. You know, like maybe that Sasquatch came to you guys because it wanted to assist you in kind of igniting your own abilities in some way. You know, I don't know. So I think I'm just going to open it up now to like any question that anyone has. Like, not personal readings. I don't really feel like doing personal readings in this live stream, but If anyone has a question that they want to just ask of Spirit that would be more helpful just to the collective, or just any question that you think that I might have some wisdom to share, I can do my best. And of course, we can see if anyone else in the live stream, anyone else in the live chat has any particular knowledge about what you're asking. So does anyone have anything that they think would be fun to ask of Spirit? Or pertinent, fun and or pertinent. Something that could be quite helpful for us to understand. I want to ask for Sydney, why did this Sasquatch come to them? If it was a Sasquatch, like what was the reason for that? Or was there, Did that Sasquatch intend to come across them? And if so, why? And in the meantime, if y'all have other questions, go ahead and ask. Okay. Yes. We have the 2 of Cups, the 4 of Cups upright, and then Strength reverse. So if you've watched me enough, that's how I read a yes or no. These are mostly upright, so that's a yes. I feel like this Sasquatch did feel some sort of personal connection to you all. And with the 4 of Cups and the Strength reversed, I feel like it was also like there was an awareness on the part of this Sasquatch that you, your brother, or your mom, or maybe all of you, were maybe just feeling very disenchanted with life. Maybe feeling a little bit like, what is all of this here? Feeling maybe not disillusioned, but maybe sort of let down or disappointed by life in a way, that you had kind of lost touch with your own inner strength or something. So it was an act of love. I think it was an act of love. Anything else? Yeah. So the Sasquatch somehow was aware of that. And it wanted to give you some, I don't know if it made you feel better. It sounded like it scared your brother, but yeah, in a way, it just wanted to connect in a way, maybe to kind of show you, I don't know, we have Queen of Wands. I'm trying to think of what they wanted you maybe to just believe more in these types of things, that maybe that in and of itself would give you more of a sense of just feeling on fire for life again, like bringing back your vitality or your interest in life. Like, oh, wow, life is really interesting. Whoa, I mean, what more could there be to life if this is a possibility, bringing that fire back into your life. I'm also getting 9 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, and the Hermit. The 9 of Pentacles and the Hermit are both very solitary cards. So I don't know if you're an introvert, Sydney, but, or maybe you just have experienced this feeling of being alone. And another thing this Sasquatch wanted you to understand was that you're not alone, which reminds me of extraterrestrials. But yeah, I mean, you're not alone, and we want you to experience the fullness of life. If your aloneness ever feels lonely, instead of that, we want you to see that as an opportunity for enlightenment and growth. And any challenges that you face, again, even here we have this, they're reaching up towards, I know my camera isn't great, but these people are climbing up these 5 wands to reach this fire, and we had the Queen of Wands here with fire too. They wanted you to get back in touch, I guess, with the element of fire, like just your being on fire for life, understanding that these problems that we face in life they're not the obstacles necessarily that we see them as. They're opportunities to climb up and reach something greater. So that's a nice message. He was always scared, but I was very intrigued. I have always been. My mom always said mystical creatures don't exist, and it always made me sad. That to me was a confirmation. Yes. Oh, and yeah, I mean, yes. So that obviously, yeah, this was a tremendous act of love. So maybe it was a message to your mom as well, not to be that way towards you. And, like the truth is out there. I think a lot of times when people are abusive, they think that they can get away with it because they'll think that nobody else knows, or nobody will believe that I treat Sydney this way behind closed doors. Maybe that was the message to your mom. This Bigfoot was like, I fucking know what's happening. So you're very welcome, Sydney. And thank you, of course, for sharing your story. And I appreciate that you always have nice things to share. Yeah. It's just like abusive people are like that, I feel like, They think that, they think that they can just get away with it and no one will believe that they're like that. And they can be very good at convincing people that too. So let's just ask, maybe there's a general message to all of us from Sasquatch. And if y'all have any particular questions, again, go ahead and ask them. So we have 10 of Cups wanting to come out. This is a beautiful version of the 10 of Cups. So 10 of Cups, of course, is like emotional fulfillment. So I feel like there's a message here. We have the 6 of Cups and then 7 of Cups reversed. Our Sasquatches really want, I'm channeling a message from Sasquatch for all of us. The Sasquatch do want us to be more reconnected with family. Oh, family and innocence and our happiness. That's another thing that was talked about, I think, in this passage is that they have family units. They are very family oriented. Humans talk a lot about family values, but it just doesn't feel like it's very much in a priority for humans. Just because you talk about something doesn't mean that you're really living those family values. But Sasquatches want us to connect really more with our families in this joyous kind of way. Maybe that's coming up too, because we were talking about, the way that our family can be abusive sometimes. And I feel like Sasquatch is saying here that we are not meant to be having that experience. And that they do believe that there is something better for us, that maybe we could come back to an experience of the family unit that is more similar to what the Sasquatch experiences. Yeah, because I think with 7 of Cups reversed, we have had so many issues of like control and dominance that we have become so very confused about what really being lovingly connected to other people, like what even is that all about? And so we try to create our own families as adults, and even in that process, we get so confused because we've had so many hurtful experiences. 4 of Cups coming back, and it, lots of emotions here. These are all Cups cards so far. So yeah, I feel like Sasquatch really has a lot of empathy. Psychic empathy was not mentioned in their psychic traits, but it seems to me that probably is a strong one as well. Like really having this excellent understanding of human emotions. I feel like Sasquatch is saying we understand as well that you're not happy with this experience that you're having here on Earth. We know that this is not fulfilling you anymore. And we do also want to help guide you and assist you towards healing all of this. And we want you to see and perceive that is possible, because, on both of these, it's like, I know that my camera isn't very clear, but both of these women just seem almost like they've given up hope, and they don't want us to lose hope. If any of us are in that place of losing hope, they want us to understand and perceive that there is hopefulness, that things are getting better. Yes, we will shine. We will have a better experience. And in particular, we have 3 6 cards coming up. And I know 666 is normally not seen as a very positive number here, but it's really just about relationships. And I'm feeling like ending the experience of fear when it comes to interpersonal relationships. Sasquatch really understands. And even honestly, the pick a card reading that I did the other day, where Sasquatch came up as one of the spirit guide options, the message that came through about that was also very much about understanding a healthier approach to interpersonal relationships. And it definitely hit home for me. And so this is actually not surprising to me that they are very interested in us as humans kind of learning how to have a healthier approach to, interpersonal dynamics. We have the King of Cups reversed. They see this, they see in us that we are very loving people. We're very emotional and a very emotional species. They see that in us, but they also know that we're in this world which really alienates us from being able to experience love in the highest way. They know that we are fully capable of it, but it's so difficult for us to achieve it. And we're getting there to that transformation where we will be moving into a better experience, but we're not quite to it yet. Another 6. We've got 4 6 cards coming up. The 6 of Pentacles reversed. I feel like they're saying this is not something that's necessarily going to be given to you. What is this saying? Okay. It's not necessarily that this is just going to be handed down to you. It's more about it's more about us as humans letting go of what we're holding on to. If we can let go of what we've been holding on to that we think is what we need, then there will be more room for what we really do need. I just also feel like they're saying that the more that we come into a greater awareness of all of this, the quicker, the more quickly this progress will be made. It's becoming quicker. Our progress our perception is becoming clearer. We're having greater and greater clarity about all of this. And the more we gain clarity, the faster this progress will come. We already can see that it's speeding up. At least for me, it's obvious that our ascension process is definitely speeding up right now. And it's going to be even more so, I feel like, is what they're saying. So yeah, I mean, again, like Knight of Cups, we had King of Cups reverse and Knight of Cups reverse. A lot of us have just had very difficult experiences with, giving and receiving love. And they also want to help us heal those patterns, or we will be learning how to heal those patterns. We've been trapped in the same patterns over and over. In fact, one of the message, the Nine of Wands, came up in that message the other day too, in that pick a card reading, was about, listen, you've been going through the same pattern over and over, and it's not giving you great results when it comes to interpersonal relationships. So we're suggesting a new pattern for you. In particular, what they said in that reading is that instead of, when you feel like someone has feelings for you, maybe you have this pattern of wanting to emotionally respond or give to that situation so quickly. You just want to gush your emotions into it right away before even really understanding what you're getting into, or sometimes you might not even entirely understand what your feelings are, but you're just so like, oh my God, someone threw me a crumb. And so I'm going to give all that I have to that little crumb because I just don't feel like I eat much. And so if there's a crumb, then that's at least something. But they're saying, no, if you're not really sure how to respond to a situation, then just don't, when you know what to do about a particular they were talking about romantic love situation, then you will know without a doubt. So if you're still not certain, if you're like, yeah, this person's throwing me a crumb and that's nice, I guess. But they're saying, just wait. You don't need to jump the gun so much. Yeah. More chaos before peace. I mean, things do have to be kind of shaken up a little bit in order to restructure them. I guess that's kind of the symbolism of Uranus as well, the planet Uranus. It's about breaking down those towers so that they can be rebuilt. I mean, we're in a process right now where we have so many systems in place on the earth that are really making us very unhappy. So we are really being held in this unhappiness, but we have to figure out how to break down those systems and rebuild systems that really serve the highest good. And we are doing that. But it does require a certain level of chaos, and it is disillusioning. I mean, when we start to see reality, perceive it more accurately, it is disillusioning, but also it's helpful. What they talked about with this Knight of Swords, like the greater our clarity is, the more quickly we're going to be having these earth changes and evolving in the way that we're meant to. So, yeah. Well, I don't really have anything else to say. I don't know if anyone else does. I usually go longer with these, and I usually do personal readings. I just didn't feel like doing that today. I didn't realize till yesterday, maybe a couple days ago, that it's been an entire month since I haven't done one of these live streams. This live stream series is one of the most enjoyable things I feel like that I've done with my channel so far. I do really enjoy it. So I'm glad to be back doing it. But I just didn't feel like doing live readings, so I'm not doing those today. But I do really appreciate everybody. Thank you, Sydney. I'm glad that I was able to give you a message and help you to understand that experience better. And also just, thank you for sharing your vulnerability with what your life experience has been with your mom. I think it's hard to talk about things like that, but I think it benefits everyone when we can open up and talk about our difficult experiences like that. Yeah, sometimes you do. Yeah. It's been, I would say that this past month has been very multidimensional for me. And yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm learning more about self-love and like really just prioritizing myself and doing what I need to do for myself. And that's an excellent lesson to learn as well. So if there's nothing else from anybody, nobody has any pressing questions that they want to ask of Spirit, I guess I'll go, and I'll see you guys next week. Let me know in the comments if you have any topics that you'd like me to address in the live stream. Some of the upcoming topics I think I'd like to do are maybe to talk about the sun goddess, also, and like the symbolism of the sun goddess as it relates to the divine feminine reemerging or coming back into her power. Another topic that I'd like to address at some point is how to pray effectively. What my particular tips and experiences are with prayer, how to, make prayer in a way that really works and where you're really aware of how it is working for you. Also, I think maybe I would like to maybe bring in Geronimo one week and just do some messages from Geronimo. But yeah. So let me know if any of those sound in particularly very interesting or if you have other ideas. But until next week, I wish you guys well, and I'll see you later. Bye.